Oh, yes, we're here to bury media. I'm Doug Tenaple in exile. And now that media's already collapsed and fallen, we're here to dance on their ashes. Elon Musk announced today that he's going to make games great again and start a video game company. It's too bad he doesn't get a hold of the creator of one of the most popular games in the 90s. I developed video games. I worked on a dozen or so, and a whole bunch of them got lots of awards and did really well. I'm a mass media artist, but now we do the news. Games are actually really hard work. They're a lot of work to organize that team. But here's Stephen Miller destroying CNN as we bury the media. Welcome to the Doug Tenaple channel.
Chief of Staff for Policy. Stephen, thank you so much for taking time for us. So who is in charge of DOGE?
The President of the United States.
He's the administrator of DOGE?
No, the DOGE is what was formerly U.S. Digital Services. It's an agency of the federal government that reports into the Executive Office of the President, which reports to the President of the United States.
She doesn't like that answer. She's trying to get him to say that Elon Musk is in charge of DOGE, and really, he reports to the president. But she doesn't like that answer. She's not going to go with it because this is CNN.
Okay.
The way that Article 2 works is the president wins an election, and then he appoints staff, including...
I like how he's doing... This is 8th grade civics for CNN.
Myself, including Mike Waltz, including Susie Wiles,
yes,
including Elon Musk, and those staff report to him.
Okay, well aware. So Elon Musk a week ago answered a question about transparency at DOGE. This is how he spoke about DOGE.
Well, we actually are trying to be as transparent as possible. In fact, we post our actions to the DOGE handle on X and to the DOGE website. So all of our actions are maximally transparent.
You hear him there. We post our actions. All of our actions are maximally transparent. Does Elon Musk know he's not in charge of DOGE?
Look at that. She rejected his answers. Where was she at on the lack of transparency for the last 4 years? CNN, you had an entire network that was about making a opaque wall around the Biden administration and covering up everything they did. It's the exact opposite of the transparency. Oh, now they want transparency now that Elon Musk, who is publicly posting everything on DOGE, you can actually find it all. Well-researched, cross-referenced, easy to find, and CNN's like, we can't find it.
Again, the president runs the government, then the president appoints advisors, including Elon, including myself, including all the other staff here at the White House, and then those staff in turn execute the president's commands and directions to all the agencies of the federal government. This is how democracy works, something that we treasure in America. The whole American people go to the ballot box, they elect the president appoints staff, the staff that administer his orders and directives across the whole U.S. government.
Okay, Stephen, I get that, but this is important because we want to talk about who's making the decisions here. There were 300 employees, the National Nuclear Security Administration, you know about this. They were fired. The agency had to rescind those terminations because these were employees who were critical to maintaining the nation's nuclear stockpile. So then who is it making those decisions of which federal employees are terminated?
Well, in that case, the Secretary of Energy would be the one. So what you're describing with the cuts in the Department of Energy, those are directed by the Senate-confirmed Secretary of Energy.
Okay, so that was the Secretary of Energy's mistake.
Wait, now it's a mistake.
Well, I wouldn't use the term mistake. I would say that it's pretty standard when you're downsizing government. You make cuts, you assess those cuts, you see who needs to be rehired, who needs to be kept, who needs to be
That's not what happened here, though, Stephen. You know that. They were rescinded. These aren't normal things. These were terminations that were rescinded.
I understand that even a temporary interruption in federal employment is a great crisis and catastrophe for you and for CNN. What the American people see is a government that is finally delivering a promise of accountability under President Trump. You want to have a conversation about transparency. Let me ask you a question. Do you have any idea where the $22 billion that the Department of Health and Human Services provided to illegal aliens under Joe Biden is right now? $22 billion with a B. That's enough to provide a free house to every homeless veteran in America. Where's the $22 billion? I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows. Joe Biden just spent it, and now it's gone.
And CNN never even asked a question about it. Where did it go? They just had no questions about illegal aliens getting billions of dollars.
Transparency begins with having an accounting of where every federal dollar is spent. And God bless President Trump for leading this effort.
Stephen, it seems like the crisis here had to do with the nation's nuclear stockpile. And for these particular federal workers, which I'm not, so this isn't my personal crisis, military members of the Guard and the Reserve.
I don't think it's a crisis, and you don't think it's, well, hold on. I don't think it's a crisis, and you don't think it's a crisis, then why are we talking about it?
She thinks it's a crisis. Move it on. What I'm fascinated in watching with the media is they've got no ammunition, no standing, but they're not going to change their position. They have a religious ideology, a religious adherence to leftism. And this is how they're like martyrs. Like they feel like they have to be persecuted for their religion. They have to be the remnant. We're the ones that remained wrong, even through all of the collapse of media. They still think someone somewhere is going to lift them out of the ashes and put them back in charge again. And these guys, we're just going to be laughing at them, probably for the rest of our lives as they sit there. Here's Frank Luntz with just how popular Trump's been in this administration. Watch this. Now, remember, he's a late comer to Trump.
Have you on because you do a lot of focus groups. You really get behind the numbers, the poll numbers, to the sentiments of voters. And it's so interesting. You've been speaking with a number of voters who were Hillary Clinton 2016, Joe Biden 2020, and then went for Trump in 2024. How are these folks seeing the early days of Trump's second term?
Pretty well.
Really?
And they're reacting to it because they love the pace of change. They were very fed up over the last 4 years. They wanted action. They wanted results. They looked at prices. They looked at affordability, looked at immigration, and they didn't see anything happening. They still don't like what he says, but they like what he does. And these are Democrats now who felt that they were not securing the border. They were doing nothing to prevent illegal immigration, that nothing was actually happening. They wanted to see a reduction in wasteful Washington spending, and they're seeing that. So what they tell me is, I wish he would be a little bit less rude. But at the same time, they like what he's doing. They believe he's serious about it. And
get off the rude thing, everybody. We get it. We've heard it now. It's been 10 years. Everyone wishes he was less rude. I wish I had a flying pony. They all agree that he's doing a great job. And when was the last time people felt that about a president? That they agree that he's doing a great job. They agree that we should shore up the border. This is the same gal that was questioning Stephen Miller. And now she's just getting a talking to by Luntz on Trump is basically doing what the people want.
For the first time, they have confidence in the future, which is why you now see some significant shifts in the polling about the expectations for the direction in the coming years.
It's a big wake-up call for Democrats.
I'm waiting for them to get a message. I'm waiting for them to unify and to understand that to oppose and to be the resistance, which is what some of them use that phrase. That's not what Democrats in grassroots areas want from them. They may not want the approach that Trump is doing, President Trump. By the way, I now know to say President Trump. But they do want action, and they don't see action from the Democrats.
They're the resistance of ending waste. The Democrats are the resistance to ending waste, fraud, and abuse, and the Democrats are resisting that. That's their current messaging. It's not working. And now, finally, I have to give you this last one from Eric Adams when the media comes and tries to hit him with why he won't answer questions.
Mayor Adams, why don't you take questions from the press?
Make a path for us, that's all.
Yeah, I don't blame him either. He's not taking questions from the media that hates him.
Why don't you take questions from the press?
Y'all liars.
Because y'all lie.
What are we lying about exactly?
Yeah, what are we lying about exactly?
Yeah, tell us what we're lying about exactly. I like the one lady, she just repeats the other guy. Yeah, what are we lying about? I'll tell you what you're lying about. How about everything? I'm Doug in exile.